Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of The Golden Standard, the official comic book review series of the Golden Age 1942, Blount County's #1 stop for comics, gaming, collectibles, and so much more. We're located at 316 Court Street, across the street from the courthouse in the historic WGAP radio building, coming at you from the set of the Golden Standard, which we are now dubbing Golden Control. Props to Stephanie for coming up with that name. You're a genius. We've got a special episode of the Golden Standard coming up for you today. I like to think of today's episode as a homegrown episode of the Golden Standard. Based out of Maryville, homegrown. It's like comics fresh from the farmer's market. If you've been keeping up with us, you probably remember me saying that we're going to have a special guest. They're a husband and wife team from Maryville, Tennessee, and she is responsible for the mural in our front game room. They were here on Free Comic Book Day, so you got a chance to meet them and check out some of their work. They're the co-creators of Don't Fear Dawn, Robin and Neil McCammon. Neil, Robin, thanks for joining us today on the Golden Standard.
Thanks for having us.
Typically, this part of the show, I like to kind of talk about what the book is about, but I'm going to give you guys a spotlight, so to speak, today. If you want to tell us a little bit about what Don't Fear Dawn is about.
Well, I like to tell people it's about family. It's about a girl who is trying to reconnect with her biological family that she struggled with her entire life. And on that journey, she sort of crashes literally into the valley, into Brimstone Valley, where unbeknownst to her is vampires. And she doesn't find that out, at least right away.
She learns at some point. Yeah, at some point. These people aren't normal. Yeah.
But she meets Weston, and he's always wanted a family, and so they start developing a bond, and it starts to, hopefully make the reader start asking questions about, what family is and how you put together a family.
Yeah.
That's not just nuclear or biological.
When I was reading it, one of the things that it really kind of struck me as sort of like a Beauty and the Beast with vampires.
That's pretty cool.
Kind of thing at first, But yeah, it's definitely a family story. I definitely get that sense there. Don't Fear Dawn is a collaborative work. You all work on that together. Can you talk to us a little bit about the process? Like, Robin, I understand you do the artwork, and Neil, you do the writing, or is it you do it together? How do you go about creating an issue of Don't Fear Dawn?
I'll let her talk about her creative process. That's probably 90% of the heavy lifting.
Okay.
I usually just consider I just consider myself kind of story consultant.
Okay.
Really. Also, I do all the stuff like when it comes to the publishing, like all the okay, it has to be this format, and we have to submit it, and just all the non-artistic stuff.
Technical support.
Yes,
if it was up to me, I would spend no time on anything except for actually producing the work.
Yeah.
Because it's frustrating to have to slow down and figure out all the business part of it. But I tell Neil all the time, it's like, so I see the division of labor is like 90-10, percent.
Yeah.
But I tell people that even though I do like 90% of the work, it wouldn't get done if Neil didn't do that last 10%, and even if it did, it would be so crap, because Neil reins me in where I need to rein in. When I'm sort of sometimes I'll get off on trying to write my own fan fiction. I'm gonna make Weston do this because it's romantic, and he's like, you can't do that. That has no place in the story arc. What are you doing?
So you got to have somebody to kind of ground you, pull the reins a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He ramps it up. I say, I'm gonna make Weston do this, and he's like, yeah, but make him do it in this awesome way. And I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. Makes it harder to draw, but
it's actually I guess
it's like, okay,
I'm sort of I push you in that regard.
It's because in issue 1, the Harold and Maude moment, Neil calls it. It's I'm like, okay, she's gonna crash through the grate and she's gonna meet Weston in there somewhere. And Neil's like, no, here's what's gonna happen. She's gonna veer onto this road, and then she's gonna crash up this giant cliff, and then I want you to draw 4 different panels of the truck flipping in midair and then splashing, and I'm like, oh god. But he's always right.
Yeah. So it's almost like you plan it out, but Neil was like the director.
Yeah.
Like if this were a film, no, this is gonna be huge. It's gonna go over a cliff.
I guess director of photography.
Director of photography.
That's good. Yeah, definitely.
It's like this could be a cooler angle.
Mm-hmm.
Or,
oh, absolutely.
It's like, place the camera here instead of
yeah.
Absolutely.
So. Don't Fear Dawn, the film, coming to a theater near you. It's going to happen.
3D.
3D. It's got to be in 3D.
3D. That,
you got to do it in 3D.
And it's going to be a cartoon,
cool.
so Robin can draw the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Pixar's going to get involved, and they're going to help you out. It'd be awesome.
Pixar's first R-rated film.
Yeah.
The first R-rated computer animated Pixar film.
Are you planned like far ahead into the story?
Oh, yeah.
You're way ahead into the story. So coming up with one issue it's pretty. You don't even have to sit around and think about it.
Well,
you know what's.
It's more like, okay, we only have so many pages that we can fit.
Or it's like, okay, if I'm going to get this out in like within a few months' time, I need to do it in this amount of pages. So it's like, we know this is coming up in the story.
Mm-hmm.
How do we want to arrange the scenes that are coming up next in the outline to, illustrate for this issue? That's sort of it. But we have an outline, and I'll talk more about this at Minicon this weekend in my panel for Concept to Comic.
Mm-hmm.
You got to start with an outline because when you build a story that big in a graphic novel, which is, it's not episodic, it's like, it's all, everything is leading towards the ultimate end. If you don't have an outline, you can't set things up, you can't foreshadow things that are coming out. So you don't want to, do Sex Machina. You want people to say, "Oh, that's what she meant."
I love this, what I call sort of like the mini graphic novel like sort of format with this. But like you said, you tell as much story in this as you can in one panel. Like you get so much into it, and it's a quick read. But then you don't reveal everything about the world of the story.
Yeah.
You leave the reader not only wanting more, but like trying to speculate, well, what's going on here between these characters? I thought that was really clever, really unique, and it reads. It reads like a comic strip, like in a paper, like it's just like a fluid, like that. And talk a little bit about the black and white. I saw on your Facebook post you said you prefer black and white.
Oh,
I mean, it goes sort of back to her process. Of course, I love black and white. Huge Ninja Turtles fan from being a tiny little kid. They started out black and white, so I'm a big fan of especially that series. But really, do you want to speak more to that? I feel like it's.
Well, I think is your favorite comic the original Ninja Turtle, Eastman and Laird.
Oh, this isn't about my favorite comics.
Well,
this is my favorite comic.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Okay.
Sometimes I think he wishes it didn't exist.
It sort of goes in with influences and stuff too, though.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Because Bone.
Yeah, Jeff Smith's Bone is probably my biggest influence. As far as that, Archie comics is was my first influence that made me want to do this sort of stuff. But Neil was really into Eastman and Laird's original Ninja Turtle, which is kind of gritty, And I read the black and white Bone. I have the giant collected. Yeah. That's what Bone for Dawn will look like when it's collected. And also Jonan Vasquez, who did Invader Zim. Okay. And he also has a series called Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Yeah. Which is super not for kids. But it's gritty. I like that gritty pulp, I
was going to say, I think I love the black and white for this. I think it fits perfectly. It really gives it like sort of a no, I can't pronounce it, noir. Like a
film noir, yes.
Film noir, and I think...
I love that you said that. That's a huge... When we watch Twilight Zone, the film noir episodes we'll take notes of like, we should set up a shot like in that.
Yeah, I mean, it fits perfect for the story. I think it's great.
So. With film noir, it's so much of the drama, I think, came out of that black and white film format. It's I guess you could do film noir style and color, but it's... I guess more of a modern take on it, but and she's quite dramatic, so it works pretty well with the format.
When you limit a medium, it's when you have to make certain decisions. You can't bring in different ways to do things. You have to say what's going to be black and what's going to be white, and that contrast causes like immediate drama. And I really love you said film noir because when we get into Brahms' backstory. He's from Chicago.
I just say that I love Brahms.
Everybody loves Brahms.
I want to bring this up, and I don't want to give anything away, but with these characters. Okay, that's one thing I want to talk about with these characters. Like you've done a fantastic job of creating these unique characters that have their own personality. But Brahm, like when there's a, and I don't want to give this away, but like his
No,
relationship with his laboratory, that has to. I mean, it's
that might have been some of the 10% that I helped contribute.
No, when it comes to Braum, it's like 90, 10. When it comes to Braum,
if there's one character I have a little bit of, he's the one I identify with.
Yeah, if you can love your workplace as much as Braum loves his workplace, you're doing something right.
Never work a day in your life.
Yeah, but I literally, I just about rolled over laughing.
I'm so glad.
It was like he comes up.
Yes,
I was like, is that the
thank
song
you.
he's singing? Is
Thank
it?
you.
No, this.
Yes, I'm so glad because that's an element of Braum's character that I'm so glad to come out because he loves to sing and every scene we see him, he'll be singing or something, but he can't sing. And so there's a lot of scenes like that. So I'm really glad to got something like that.
It was very funny, very hilarious.
Thank you.
So how did Don't Fear Dawn come about? How did you get the idea for this? What's the, when did it happen? What?
Oh, well, the original story was called Dawn of Serenity, and it was, I started writing it in high school, and it's all of what you would think a 15-year-old, half goth, sickly romantic, would write about. It's, not many people probably would have enjoyed it more than high school girls.
Yeah.
But as I met Neil in high school, and I got more into just art in general, and I started taking a lot of, I started reading a lot more, and I started developing a love for literature.
Mm-hmm.
When I decided to pick it back up, I knew I wanted to do something bigger with it. I wanted to have it more thematic. I wanted to speak to people, and it's be something. And I always say this is a vampire metaphor, something that people can sink their teeth into.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted, and I had, even as the rewrite, when I started rewriting it, 10 years ago, I had it bigger than originally planned, but I told Neil about it, and I wanted it to be maybe 100 pages, and I told Neil about it, and he's like, yeah, but if we do this and this, it'll be so much better, and it's been that way ever since. It's like every element he's blown up into, but it would be so much cooler if this happened, so it's become this entire universe.
Yeah.
Something that was supposed to take place in a high school.
Yeah.
Originally, takes place. I mean, it's global.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Scenes all over the world.
We start in what is it, Texas?
And
then we end up in New York. What about your backgrounds as far as writing and art? Have you always drawn? Have you always written or
Well,
gone to school for any of it?